Okay, so that's us live. Well, first of all, thank you, David, for joining me for a wee chat to do with the new film documentary that you're making. Obviously, David Starr, well known for Tickled, and you've got several films, haven't you, that you've done previously?
Yes, I have. I've done Tickled is my earliest one now, the 2015. Before that, I was a commercial actor, but I did Tickled, right. Then 27 Matches, which was taking on the Russian sex trafficking industry. It's also a docudrama. And I've done I Learned by Travel, which is a little softer fare about a group of kids going to Costa Rica. And One Wrong Turn, which is a mystery about the lady who disappeared from the Indian casino in 2015 and basically fell off of the face of the earth. They couldn't find her. Thousands of people were looking, and she returned about 40 miles from where she was originally suspected to be. And actually, I put that film on temporary hold in order to complete the $50 million bullet.
Right. Okay. So when did you start looking into the idea of doing the $50 million bullet?
Actually, I was at the Appleton, Wisconsin Film Festival, the Film Forte, and I was premiering my movie, I Learned by Travel, and I was sitting up in the VIP section up front, and then comes down this lady coroner, deputy coroner of Wisconsin, and comes right up to the front row, which was totally okay with me because I'm glad she did. We got to talking, and after that, she was telling me a little bit about the Michael Funk story, and I was becoming more horrified and more annoyed by what the local police had handled this situation. And at the conclusion of the part, I told her that this is a story that must be told.
Absolutely. One of the things I'm sort of curious about is, because you are a celebrated filmmaker about these sort of issues, what were your thoughts when you first watched Making a Murderer? Because that's one of the things that obviously a lot of us are also very, very interested in. I just wondered what your thoughts are on Netflix's Making a Murderer.
Making a Murderer is an incredibly fascinating story, and it also took place in Wisconsin and was tuned in by 113 million people on Netflix. And I must say, I'm surprised at Wisconsin. I love you guys in Wisconsin, but you guys didn't learn your lesson the first time.
Well, that's right, because it's what we're discovering is that recently when obviously Steve and Brendan are trying to get things moving, we find the same players involved in Stephen and Brendan's case are also involved in basically the cover-up of the police execution. Head of the list of most villainous, of course, is for me would be Brad Schimmel, who is reckoned to be the worst Wisconsin Attorney General of all time.
I'm sorry, I lost the last 15 seconds. I lost the last 15 seconds. Could you repeat for me?
No worries. Sure. I was just saying that some of the characters, main characters in, Stephen and Brendan's attempts to get justice for themselves and Teresa are also involved in the cover-up of this shooting at Neenah. Brad Schimmel, in particular, being one of the sort of arch villains in all of this. Any thoughts on him? He's been described as the worst Attorney General in Wisconsin history.
Well, one thing I have learned is I would say he's just a rubber stamp Attorney General. Basically, does not really check anything, and he just automatically sides with the state, irrespective of the truth.
Well, yes, certainly. I mean, embarrassing things like he came up with those commemorative coins. He spent something like $10,000 on these coins to give to people with the logo "Kicking Ass Every Day."
Yeah, you're talking about
Which
the medals that were given out to
yes,
the police officers who decided to kill Michael Funk. Okay, that coin was also awarded. The medal was awarded on Michael Funk's birthday.
right.
That was not a good thing. And giving
No.
coins out to people in applauding basically a murder of an innocent hostage is totally reprehensible. That's one of the things that made me angry, and one of the things that helped influence me making this movie.
Absolutely. If I can, I'm just going to overlay this. Can you see that? Okay, David. Hello, David. Feared that did I cut you off?
No, I was here. I was looking at the screen, reading the material.
Sorry, I'll pop it back up and I'll read through it. Okay.
Okay,
It
please.
says here that it says from the Winnebago County Sheriff's Office, Menasha Police Department. There's a thing in the way that prevents me from seeing what the other. Hold on a sec. Let me get the text up on my phone because then I can read through exactly what was written here. Two seconds.
Town of Menasha Police Department, Appleton Police Department. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's right. Yes. So basically, there was these law enforcement and also State Patrol and Nina Menasha Fire Rescue all descended at about 9:22. Nina police received specific information that hostages were in immediate danger of being killed. Officers attempted entry into the building to rescue the hostages and were met with gunfire. One male Nina officer was shot by someone inside the business. The officer was struck in his ballistic helmet, which prevented the shot from being potentially fatal. The officers were able to exit the building, and the wounded officer received medical attention. He was eventually transported to Theda Clark Hospital, where he was treated and released. A short time later, a male subject exited the business with a firearm. This subject did not comply with officers' instructions to drop the firearm and was subsequently shot at by one or more officers on scene. We do not know if he was also shot at by the individual subject inside the business, etc., etc. Is there anything about that you would disagree with?
Yeah, in America, we call that fake news. And why is because they did not shout any warning to him until actually after he was shot.
Well, exactly, and they say that the one guy was shot in the helmet, and that he went to hospital. No mention of the fact that he was the one that actually put 18 bullets into Michael Funk's back.
Well, actually, he's the one who took the very first shot, and additional shots were fired by Officer Ross, who was standing next to him. But there were several officers there, and he is the one who took the shot. And let me give you a little bit of information on why we call it the $50 million bullet.
Yes,
because
please.
He knew this. The officer's name was Officer Hopper. He was a defendant in a suit from ML to him by name. So what is the easiest way to get rid of a lawsuit than to kill the plaintiff legally?
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? When we look back on the fact that there was a raid, I believe it was 2012 when the Nina police raided Eagle Nation Cycles on a drugs raid. Is that I've got that bit correct?
Yes, the lawsuit stemmed from a drug raid in 2012 where excessive unreasonable force was used. And get this, the video surveillance system had 19 seconds of footage chopped out, and then the drugs were found. We jokingly on the set here, we call that missing Watergate tapes. That 19 seconds.
Absolutely. So therefore, I believe I'm right in saying that one of the things because I mean, obviously this guy flat off, whatever state of mind he was in, we don't know, but he's obviously incarcerated. I think he's facing life in prison. Is that right?
That is correct. And what I can also say is that via the grapevine, I have heard that Flatoff would like to speak to me. He has some truth that has never been told.
Yeah, what I find interesting was that they were so heavy-handed in this police raid, and yet when it came to this hostage situation, they sent 4 guys in. Apparently, a couple of them fell down the stairs, and this is when Hoffa actually got shot in the helmet. Was from one of his own officers in a bit of friendly fire or accidental shooting. Is that correct?
Initially, we did think it was accidental friendly fire, but subsequently, I had a expert come out and analyze the trajectory of the shot, and we do now believe that it was Flatoff who actually took that shot. And the officer went in there. He was turkey necking as he was looking through the door, and I guess like a hunter, Hoffa took it.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Hoffa haven't been shot. That should have been him away from the scene. Apparently, there's protocol here that if you've been shot in the helmet, you need to sort of excuse yourself, if you like, from the situation. Is that correct? He should have stood down, to use the modern terminology.
Yes, he was instructed by Officer Eichmann, his superior officer, to stand down. He had just got through taking a shot in the head, a seriously hard shot in the head, because it went right into his helmet, and naturally just threw him back. And he was supposed to go off the scene, and he basically refused, probably because he hasn't got his shot in yet.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I find quite interesting is the fact that it's almost as if once there was another report somewhere I read whereby basically they were going in to once they'd been shot at, that was it. They were looking to more or less.
They were shot. Part of what you're saying,
right? Sorry. I read a report somewhere whereby it was mentioning the fact that basically the police, once they vacated the building, they would have then been happy to have shot anybody. It wouldn't matter whether it was Flatoff or hostages, as long as you say they got their shot in.
That is also correct, and it's also legally correct. If anyone commits a homicide, it's the bad guy who's going Flatoff who is going to take the hit for it. So they had total impunity to pretty much take out anyone they want, and Flatoff would have gotten the blame.
Yes, I think he was found guilty of in effect the murder of Michael Funk, wasn't he?
That is absolutely correct.
Right. One of the things that we notice with the Stephen Avery Brendan Dassey case is the fact that law enforcement, both from the law enforcement up through the attorneys, all the way through the Department of Justice, right up to the assistant attorney generals and the attorney generals, is the notion that in a sense they're only scrapyard guys. They don't really matter. They're a lower class of individual, and I get a sense, a little bit of that, because essentially, Eagle Nation Cycles is a shop specifically for bikers. Mm-hmm. Have you picked up any of that sense?
Absolutely. They are largely treated as second-class citizens and largely considered expendable, which is not a good thing.
No, and it's a really, really sad situation, because these guys, although they might be involved in bikes and they've got leather jackets and long hair, you should never judge them by those appearances, because often they are really, really good fellas, really good guys that do not deserve to be treated like this. I'm looking forward to seeing Dan Davis, as you put it, not just playing Michael Funk, but being Michael Funk. I fear that we might have had a bit of that we've possibly lost Dave. Oh,
yeah, we were lost for a second. So if you would repeat the last 15 seconds, I appreciate it.
Yes, looking forward to seeing Dan Davis, as you put it, not just playing Michael Funk, but being Michael Funk.
That is absolutely correct. He is not just Michael Funk playing; he is Michael Funk.
I must admit, I think he's about the same age as me, but he looks a lot younger. So he must have had a very easy paper round. But he's going to have to try and pretend to be a few years older, isn't he? To be.
Oh yeah, we got to age him up and throw a beard on him and give him longer hair.
That's yes.
But his personality is perfect.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. I want to share with you, if I may, one or two screenshots of. Again, it's something that really annoys me is the attitude of this current chief of police at Nina, to do with the fact that they were basically exonerated. It was Schimmel's decision to just say, even when the police department admitted to the fact that they were called out for it, weren't they, about this giving any kind of warning whatsoever. That is just a blatant lie. But one of the things that the police really hate is when you highlight their wrongdoing. And I just want to ask you about this. I'm going to put up this first screenshot. This is the police officer's oath, and again, I'll read it out. I'll read it out because I find all this stuff very, very interesting. It says, and I hope hopefully everybody can see this. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. Any of that strike you as being a bit wrong? Shouldn't the police department at least?
I lost a substantial amount of the audio. I did not get to hear a reading of the oath or anything you said after that.
Right. Okay. Well, hopefully people did get to hear what I was saying. I'll do it again though. The law enforcement oath of honor. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. Is there anything about that you find?
I wonder if they will hold themselves accountable for their actions. But it does give me an opportunity to express I do support law enforcement. I love good cops. And I must stress that this is not an anti-cop movie. It is an anti-bad cop movie.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help thinking, it's it's a wicked world that we live in, isn't it? And there are, gangsters and thugs and all these sort of people out there, and so the police do face difficulty from time to time. As I often say when I'm highlighting well, both this and Stephen and Brendan, I don't wake up every morning thinking, now what can I do to undermine local government in Wisconsin? But you need to highlight these things because people need to be made aware of exactly what is being done, basically in their name.
That is actually quite correct. Because law enforcement, the bad ones need to be reined in, and I encourage the good cops to come forward. Don't just hide behind this thin blue line. The bad ones are what are ruining it for all of you good law enforcement officers.
Yeah, there's an old saying, isn't there? It should be the bad cop that's in fear of the honest cop, not the other way around.
Exactly.
What? Slightly off topic. One of the things that I always find interesting is the various roles of, obviously you've got Dan Davis and other actors to take part in the film. You're the producer. How does the producer differ from the director? I'm just a little bit vague on how this all comes together.
Okay. A director has the pleasure of being able to just pay attention to the things going on the set, following the script, getting shots done, getting the best out of his actors and all that. And the producers, basically, it's kind of hard to describe what a producer themselves do because we basically do a little, we solve whatever problem is out there and cover every detail. No one has ever been able to describe to me what a producer does. You just do it. It's like being a parent, and this movie is a growing child.
Okay. Nice analogy. And when will actual filming be starting?
We are slating it to start in the tail end of June in Neenah, Wisconsin, and Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and a couple of other locations that we are still scouting for our Ride of Honor and stuff like that. That'll be a glorious scene when you see it. And we hope to be filming for approximately 14 days and get it through post-production. We have actually been fortunate enough to assign Jeff Ohm as our post-production supervisor. He is responsible for doing movies like Titanic, Shrek, and has generated over $20 billion with a B dollars. And so we're quite excited about having him on the team as well.
Yep. And is it going to be? Do you know yet whether you're going to do it as a one-off film, or is it going to be a series of? Because I've heard both.
Actually, we plan on doing both. And first version for the theater will be approximately 1 hour and 50 minutes. And then from a year or a couple of years later, then we will release the remainder of the film in an entire series, putting it all together. And that will be about 4 hours of footage. And it will be of things that were not shown in the theater.
I mean, I don't know if this is correct, but I mean, I would imagine people like Netflix would be very keen to get their hands on a series like that.
Yep, we have been hit up on this, most definitely, and we are quite excited and amazed by everything that has been developed on this movie thus far. This film has been hinted as the second making of a murder.
Mhm. Well, of course, I mean, with the focus being on Wisconsin, and as I say, quite a few of the same players involved, certainly higher up the food chain. Um, one of the most interesting quotes I remember from Kathleen Zellner in series 2 of Making a Murderer was the fact that she wasn't expecting a warm welcome from Wisconsin. Are you expected some sort of similar temperatures from certain members of the public in Neenah and other places?
Well, in all honesty, we have had fantastic support from the Wisconsin community on this. People have
Yeah.
come forward telling us their stories and wanting to help out in any which way that they possibly can. Although I have put out a challenge to someone from the Neenah Police Department to come forward and talk to us, I even instructed our publicist, Kay Reach, to reach out to them. And so far, it's been crickets, dead air.
Yeah, I must admit, they certainly, I had loads of conversations with the sheriff of Manitowoc, Robert Herman, and eventually I got the impression that he was simply told by the authorities, shut up, stop talking. And it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest, although that guy Olson did give a quote, didn't he, to the Post-Crescent, because of course my good friend Eric Cozy and you had a chat. Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? Maybe more than that. Maybe about a month ago. Was it?
About a month ago.
Yeah, and that piqued the interest of Mr. What's his name? Olson.
Olson.
Aaron Olson. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's.
And he did tell us he's going to come and see the movie. Alan Olson, I'd like to invite you to the premiere. Please reach out to us via our publicist, and I will make sure that you get a ticket to the premiere.
Yeah, that'll be interesting if you do get a chance to talk with him. As I say, I suspect that he's quite happy just to say, well, you know, this has all been dealt with. Brad Schimmel's, you know, brushed it under the carpet. But when it's egregious enough, these things can be revisited, can't they?
Oh, absolutely.
These things can be relitigated and looked at, you know, because I think
one thing I can say is there's no statute of limitations on murder.
True. Yep. Listen, David, we've been going now for nearly 30 minutes. What I didn't want to do was to have you on for hours on end and then never see you again. So I was hoping maybe if we cut it at that and then get you back on some other time, and also hopefully Dan Davis and hopefully even the dude himself. Would you be willing to come in and have a little bit more chat with us? I suspect we have an audio problems.
Yes. I would be overjoyed to return and keep you guys in the loop on the updates as they progress.
Well, that would be absolutely brilliant. I must admit, when Eric Cozy first pointed out this police execution of Michael Funk, one of the things that I thought about was, you know, to begin with was, you know, it in a very simple sense, a guy comes running out of the building, he's got a gun in his hand, he gets shot, and I must admit I might have been a little bit sort of hard on the situation, say, well, you know, if you're running out with a gun, you know, it's not the best thing, you know. It's funny how once I've started to discover some of the complexities of the situation, that you know, you get a truer picture. As I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing what, you know, well, obviously it's going to be June that you're filming, and I believe out in about November, December time. Did you say?
I hate to say I lost about 20 seconds of audio. If you could say it again, that'd be great.
Yeah, I was saying that you're filming in June, and it'll all be ready and out in about November, December. Did you say?
Yeah, we are hoping to have it available for release on Michael Funk's the day that he was assassinated, which is December 5th, or the closest weekend thereof. But also, we are aware now that Sundance likes to have the world premiere. So in that event, we will need to hold the release over to the end of July. End of January, because they like to be the ones that shows it first. And we will gladly give them that.
Lovely. Okie dokie. I'm going to share one or two because I've discovered how to do this. So I'm
losing audio.
All right. Let me just do this.
I hate to say I lost audio.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share some of the comments. I don't know if you've seen some of the comments that people have put up.
I cannot see them on this screen, but if you would share them, that would be great.
Let me share them then. So David Starr, I am from Manitowoc, and I'm looking forward to seeing the movie. I can't wait.
Thank you, Beverly.
Somebody else yeah. Paul, why have you got an American flag behind you? Are you a Yankee lover? I'm actually kind of fan of most people within the human race, slicey slicers. So whether they're from Manitowoc, Wisconsin, if you paid attention, there's a flag above me which is from Belgium. We're all part of the same community. We're all part of one big human race. Okay, so I think we'll quickly move on. Here's another one from Beverly Hinnock. This angers me that the bikers are considered second class. Many officers have Harleys. If I were in a crowd, I would feel very safe standing next to a biker versus someone in a business suit.
Well, I will say. Thoughts? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. No, you carry on.
I would say I agree. I have met a lot of bikers in the process of working on this movie, and at no time did I ever feel unsafe or even uncomfortable. They are friendly people. They are they like to dress in a biker garb, and leather, etc., is an essential element to riding a bike for safety, for comfort, for a variety of reasons. I believe in judging the person, not the stereotype. There are good bikers, and unfortunately there are bad ones, but judge them individually. You will see that they're just like you and I in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Here's another one. Becky Hatfield, what platform will this be on? Will it be viewable?
Okay, next one is to Becky. What platform will this be on? Will it be viewable here in the UK? Absolutely. It will be given to the theatrical distribution first, and then you'll probably be able to catch up with it on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and iTunes. Basically, all of them. It's pretty much whichever one hits us up first, and we make the right deal. That's the basic reality.
Excellent. Because of course I'm in America, you're in the UK, so it's great that that's going to be.
You're in America. I mean, you're in the UK, and I'm in America.
No, I'm America. You're UK. Okay, we've got another one here. On you go.
Yeah, the story of Nina is shocking, just like the MAM referring to the making a murder. And can't believe this is Wisconsin again. Yes, I have heard Wisconsin again very, very, very much, Jane. That is, it just amazes me.
Yeah. In fairness, what I would point out is that one of the other cases that I'm particularly interested in is one here in the UK, which involved the conviction of a 16-year-old for the murder of his girlfriend back in 2003, and it would appear as if the lad Luke is completely innocent of the murder of his girlfriend, but the pressure on the police from the media to convict this guy Luke was so much. I'm afraid that here in the UK we can't just sit back and say, oh well, it's an American thing or it's a Wisconsin thing. It's everywhere, isn't it? And it's if you allow these little,
because you are right, it is everywhere.
Yeah,
and we must, in order to eliminate this type of stuff going on, light needs to be shown on these type of activities. Do not rush, etc. I believe in working with entire facts. There are too many lies that are being told and too many things that are being withheld. That's the thing. If there was complete transparency in all these cases, the innocent would go free and the guilty would be punished.
Yeah, that's absolutely. It's as I say, we don't wake up in the morning thinking how can we criticize Wisconsin, but we are, and one of the things I feel that they've not got right is that they've brushed Brad Schimmel brushed it under the carpet. There should have been more action taken. The problem for me is the fact that if you allow a little thing to go without punishment, where do you draw the line? How bad does something have to be for eventually action to be taken?
I hate to say I lost part of the audio after you were asking about drawing the line.
But basically the fact that we're focusing on Wisconsin because it does seem as if that line of holding people accountable has just been pushed further and further back. When does something have to be so bad that a line is drawn and said, we're not just going to cover this up, we're actually going to do something about it? There's other cases, aren't there, of people being shot in Wisconsin. Was there not a Michael Bell case as well?
I have heard about that case as well during my research of this. I haven't got a lot of information on that particular one because I'm basically overwhelmed in regards to this one. But you were asking about when do we cross the line? My friend Paul, we've already crossed it.
Well, that's exactly, because to me it's like it's a gradual thing that you let something small go unchecked, and then the police are allowed to go further and further by the attorneys allowed to go further and further by the judges, and in the end you end up with a complete mess, don't you?
I hate to say, could I have you repeat again these transatlantic communications, I guess?
Yeah, we do seem to be struggling. No, I was just saying that unfortunately it's the police, if they're given too much leeway, they're given too much leeway by attorneys, district and assistant district attorneys, who in turn are given too much leeway by judges, and they're given too much leeway by the whole Department of Justice. To me, it seems to be a knock-on effect, almost like an avalanche effect, whereby things that line just gets pushed back further and further and further.
Yes, absolutely. It's a result of a cascade, and that is only because not enough light is being shown on what is going on. like I said, I love law enforcement. I love justice. I support punishing the guilty, but I don't believe in punishing the hostages. He was factually innocent, and nothing should have ever happened to ML. Instead of doing this movie, we should be making a hero movie on how a hostage escaped.
Yes. Yeah. Can I just share you one or two more comments that might make you laugh?
Okay.
Beverly's come back.
Hello, Beverly. Wisconsin otherwise is only famous for our cheese. Yep. And I loved my time up in Wisconsin, and I am looking forward to coming up there again. It's great people, and I did have some cheese. And I would also like to invite people to go to Gordy's, which is next to Eagle Nation Cycle, and try the ML burger, named after ML
Right.
Punch.
I've got two more to share with you, and I'll let you read them out because you did a grand job.
Okay. Eagle Nation Cycles is a disabled veteran shop where ML and Steve Arato are both veterans. That is absolutely correct, and I would like to give a shout out to our publicist on that one. And
okay,
they were not treated in the dignity appropriately deserved. The department was entirely disgraceful towards them in that regard. And I would like to say that there have been a police contact with Eagle Nation Cycles many times, so they had all the information on these guys. They treated them wrong back in 2012. They treated them wrong now, or 2015.
Okay, I've got one more for you, and this will make you laugh.
Hello, Becky. If filming starting in June next year, could you add Paul as a biker in your film? He'll be in Wisconsin for the rally. Well, if you ride bikes, then absolutely.
You know, I'm 5'9" tall and about 5'9" wide. I'm not good on a bike. I've never ever ridden a motorbike, and I have a bit of trouble with the push bike.
I hate to say I'm losing a little bit of audio again.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
I heard after 5'9", after 5'9",
5'9" tall, 5'9", and 5'9" wide. Me and bikes are not ideal.
Okay.
And hopefully I will be in Wisconsin for the rally, but that's not for certain at the moment. I've had a big year of flying here, there, and everywhere. Within the last 12 months, I've been to Amsterdam following Make a Murderer. I've been to Australia for a week, and obviously up to Wisconsin for 4 days, four nights. So I've sort of burnt the bank balance a bit. So I might need to take things steady for next year. But anyway, we'll wait and see. If I'm there, you know, you can maybe get me on a push bike.
One of the things I like to throw in there is we originally were going to start shooting in May, but I learned about the rally that she was just referring to. And now we encourage them and enjoy the excitement of us making the movie. Come over from the rally over to us. Stay tuned on our website, the $50millionbullet.com, and come on over from the rally over to Eagle Nation area and take part of the excitement, including. Okay.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, I was just saying, including you, Paul.
Oh, right. Yeah. If I am, I'll definitely make the effort to come and say hello. I have been to Eagle Nation Cycles with Eric Jose, but he drove me there and back because we'd had a very very heavy night the night before. In fact, right up until 4:30 in the morning. So
that's easy in Wisconsin.
yes, I was slightly the worst for wear, and I think he probably was as well, slightly, but never mind. Anyway, David, it's been an absolute pleasure finally getting around to having a chance to chat with you. If we could do this again sometime soon, hopefully get hold of Dan. And yeah, I'm just saying, it's a great pleasure to have you come on. If it would be possible to have you back on again in the not too distant future, hopefully with Dan and possibly with the dude himself.
Absolutely. In fact, we would invite you to come do a new broadcast around December 7th, where we are unveiling the trailer of the upcoming movie, the $50 Million Bullet, in an annual celebration of life that will be taking place at Eagle Nation Cycles in Neenah, Wisconsin. And we can do an interview right from there if you like.
Well, that'd be brilliant. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Because as long as I've got the laptop, if you've got a phone, are you just on a phone?
I can be on a phone. Right now, I'm on a laptop as well.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Well, David, absolute pleasure. As I say, thank you for your time. And enjoy the rest of your evening.
I'm losing audio.
I'm just saying cheerio and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Catch you soon. Mm-hmm. Bye for now. And bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll hopefully catch you again sometime soon. Bye for now.
Okay. And thank you, Paul. Look forward to talking to you again.
Cheers.
Cheers.